Hi, Ron. We're back with another question from a member. How do we get rid of the ego mind?
Okay. Um, is the ego a mind when you say ego mind, or is an ego an entity by itself that functions in your mind? The reason I'm asking those kinds of questions is because sometimes we get out of line with what we're saying. I'm getting some blurping. I guess people are joining. Um, the ego, we don't. A lot of people don't like the ego, and a lot of people preach against it. They're, but for my ego, go God. I am God without the ego, or I am God anyway. Uh, I'm functioning as a creator of the experiences of my life. The ego is there for a purpose. Um, I would like to know more about it. Everybody's got one, if you want to call it an ego. But let's just assume that what we're talking about here is um, it's something that's a little bit different than who we are. And how do we get rid of the ego mind? That in some respects that's saying, how do I get rid of my foot? Because I keep kicking myself and I don't like to do that. Or I keep kicking the dog and da 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 da. Well, on and on we go. I'm not sure that the ego is that much a part of who we are that it is offensive to us. Your ego is necessary to have feelings of self worth, don't you think? Some people have let that go further, and I call it inferiority complex, where they have to go out and prove to themselves and to the world that they're important. Well, I would say that's an ego centric activity in your life. That if you were to learn that you are a God, a creator, that's who you are. If you had that, then you wouldn't have to have those things that feed the ego. The ego can be put in a position where it can work towards the best good of you. And if the ego is not, it's gonna do what it does, but you have to take control. You have to take control and realize that there's things that the ego does or wants you to do that is ego driven that you need to understand when you're being driven by your ego and take control. Don't allow it if you come into the understanding that that your ego mind can cause you some real problems. Otherwise, put it in its proper perspective. Let it work for you. Now, did we create this body so that we could function without the ego mind? I'm not sure. Babies have egos. If you don't believe me, just don't feed them. And they'll get really mad at you if you don't change their diapers when they don't feel comfortable with all that there in their diapers. Um, so is the ego a bad thing? I don't think so. But allowing it to take over your life and be the ruler over you is is irresponsible in your perspective, or you should be aware of that and not let that happen. It will it will curtail itself too if you are working your with your life experience, creating the experiences that you want for your life, instead of just being on autopilot that somebody else created for it, there's a very strong likelihood that your ego is going to get you into some problems. But if you can take control of your life and turn off the autopilot and take control of the airplane, then you can go in the direction you want. When you are that strong and being able to do things, your ego will support you. So I'm saying, why do you want to get rid of your ego mind? Just because it does something you don't. That's because you haven't taken control of your life. Switch the controls. Turn off the autopilot. Take control of your life. Be the one in charge. Don't let anybody else steer your car. Don't let anybody else jerk you around by trying to take control of your car or your airplane. Roads will take us where they take us. But putting an autopilot on, then you're going to go where the autopilot is going to take you. And if you don't like that, then turn it off. That's what I learned as a pilot. Of course, within jets, we didn't have that. But other airplanes have it. Keep you on the right course, and you control the speed with the throttle. So let's not say that the ego mind needs to be got rid of. Let's just say the ego mind needs to be controlled, and if you're not controlling it, it will control you. You have to be as strong as your ego, stronger than your ego. So that's my feelings about ego. I hope that's helpful for you. You need to be in charge. But getting rid of the ego, I don't think is the right idea to have. Controlling the ego so that it works for you, that was given to you as part of your life experience. And if you just get rid of it, who's going to supply that powerful guidance system for you? It's going to be good or bad, depending on what you do with it. So take control. Be the one in charge of your life. Don't let other people control you. It's not like you have to always boss your wife around if you're the husband, or it's not always important for your husband to always be bossing you around if you're the wife. You're working together. Anytime there's power over another person, you are at fault, and it will cause you major problems. The heavens do not like people who exercise unrighteous dominion over somebody else. Unrighteous means when they're 18 or whatever, you let them be the one who's in charge of their life. That's what the age of accountability is for. Some parents never get rid of that. I'm going to chew my son out for what he's doing. Well, that's taking control over his life, and that is absolutely wrong. There's a better way to do it. If you destroyed your relationship with your children, then you're gone. There's no control you have over them. Now, I'm saying control. They're not going to listen to you. A gentle reminder, approaching things in a proper way, where there's a chance of expressing your opinions about things and a chance for them to express theirs. Have you looked at this in your life? Have you looked at that? That's all I'm asking you to do. So don't let your mind control you, and don't let you control other people. The Lord looks negatively on this because it destroys who you are because you're taking it away from other people what they are. So let's let everybody be who they want to be, what they want to be. They have an inner guidance system that came with them. Let that be the guiding light in their life, and you be there to enjoy that relationship without being the one who's in control of the relationship. I hope this is helpful. It's a very serious situation. And thank you for bringing it up. That's a good question. Let's move on to the next question.
Thank you, Ron. Great insight. And we'll be right back with another question from a member.